Hi, my name is Josh and I'm here to talk to you about the new blended retirement system that's being rolled out in 2018 for the military. Before I begin, I want to note that I'm not a professional. I'm just some random schlub who likes learning about retirements and money and savings and all that. And when I heard about this new system, I was curious if it would be worth it for me to opt in. So with the help of a friend, we made a calculator where you can use the link below, follow at home, and you can find out whether or not it's worth it for you to opt in at any given rank and see between two extremes how your money will grow or die. So other things that this video will cover are the differences between the new and the old system, the calculations, and some other facts and stuff about the new system. So most people are going to be grouped into three groups. One of three groups. For those who don't plan on staying in 20 years, it is a good choice to opt in because there's no benefit under the current system for you. If you plan on staying in 20 plus and not contributing to TSP, don't opt in. There's no benefit. If you plan on staying, that was the second group. And the third group is if you plan on staying in and contributing, then there's this whole gray area of variables and shakiness that you'd have to figure out for yourself because I can't guess when you joined or promoted or how much you're contributing. So those are the three groups. And to touch on the old system benefits people who serve 20 plus years and they get a monthly retirement pay of it's actually based on an equation. It's 2.5% times years in service times your highest 36-month salary, which effectively goes to like what rank you retired at, and then for 20 years it's 50% base pay, and for 30 years it's 75% base pay. And the new system changes this a little bit. It changes that 2.5 to 2%, just 2. So you'll see an effective decrease of 10% at the 20-year mark, down to 40% instead of 50, and then at 30 it would be 60%, so a deficit of 15. But that 0.5% starting from 20 to 30, that accumulates to being 5%, right? Well, they're offering you that starting your second year of service. And before that, starting at the 60-day mark, the government will automatically, under the new system, will automatically start contributing 1% of your base pay to a traditional TSP account. That's just based on taxes and all that stuff. And will auto-enroll you in at 3% in the appropriate life cycle fund, where if you're watching this, it's most likely 2050. Maybe 2060 for very newer cases. I haven't checked that at all, so make sure. And then starting at the 2-year mark, the government will start matching your contribution up to 5% until your 26th year of service. And the way they're going to match is a little weird at the end, at the later stages. So if you contribute 1% of your base pay, the government will match it 1%. That if you do 2, it's 2, 3, it's 3. If you do 4, it's 3.5, and if it's 5, it's 4. So you might be thinking, well, that's kind of crummy. It's easy to forget the 1% automatic contribution that even if you do 0, you'll still get that 1%. Which, by the way, I do highly encourage you to put money away in TSP. It's an awesome way to secure a good nest egg for retirement. So with the match out of the way, these graphs assume that you take the full you take full advantage of what the government is offering you, and you get the 5% benefit. Another thing that the new retirement system offers is the continuation pay. What the continuation pay is, at the 12-year mark, they will offer you your base pay, E5 or E6 generally at 12, with a multiplier of 2.5 to 13 times. For guard and reserve, it's like 0.5 to 6. I don't know how many guard or reserve are going to be watching this. I I guess it should be said that I only unfortunately considered active duty during this video, so I'm sorry if this just becomes useless for you. But for an E5, that continuation pay range is somewhere between $7,500 to $36,000, and for an E6, it's $9,000 to $47,000. So that's huge, right? And it's not clear if that shares a cap with a re-enlistment bonus as well. I don't know if they're separate or combined, how that works out. It's very it's not stated, so I assumed it's not, but maybe they changed their mind. Who knows? And that, I think that covers all the real talking points. An important note is if you began your service at 31 December 2005 and earlier, or if your Guard and Reserve had 4,320 points, you cannot opt in. Sorry. But starting 1 January 2018 and going all the way until 31 December 2018, you have the choice of opting in, and it's very, very, very important that you know that this choice is one way. It's irrevocable. So if you opt in, you can't opt out. It's you can't go back. So definitely make a very well-informed decision. Unless you don't plan on staying in 20, then opt in. Yeah, go nuts. Pretty sure that's all to talk about, like the differences and the nitty-gritty stuff. So let's talk about what you see here, the data. So there are 4 areas that you can focus on. Here is where you're going to put all your inputs. Again, the link is below to the Google Doc spreadsheet thing. And you're not going to see this blue stuff. I don't know why Google doesn't. Like, I filled it and made it look pretty. Now it's not there. So you plug in your inputs, and down here you put in the age you enlisted at, how long you plan on serving, and this is really only pertains for 20 to 30, I guess for up to 40 if you're an officer, and your guesstimated continuation pay multiplier. There's no instruction on what this is based off of, but I assume it's going to be how critically manned your career field is. So that's the second area. This area, kind of off to the side of me, is just some notes to look at. These graphs don't account for the base pay increases that we get every year. You know, it's generally like 1%. We don't adjust for inflation in any of this. For people opting in late, make this first row, that one, make that, it doesn't really matter what you put in the first 2 columns. Oh, okay. Make sure you put in year 1. Doesn't matter what grade, because you're going to put 0 and 0, just to give the calculator a starting point to like go from point A to point B, and then start all the contributions and interest and stuff. And you'll see, because like over here you need something to fill in here, or else all these just turn into like weird random language that's like value, like it doesn't know what to put. In this graph, well, I guess I'll cover these final 2 points when I talk about this. And it's very important to know that when you're looking at these 2 graphs, this is only showing you the money that the government has given you from TSP. So like this red line is only the government match money. It's not your money at all. So if you wanted to know like how much you had in retirement, you just double it effectively. But this is showing, you know, visually the difference between the old and the new system. And in this graph, it's one extreme where you don't need that extra 10% at 20 years, right? The 50 to 40. You don't need that 10%, and you can invest it the same way that you have your TSP invested in under the new system, and how those would grow given time. This one over here assumes that you actually needed that 10%. You needed that, it comes out to like $500 a month for an E7 at 20 years. It's like 22 to 1700 difference. So $500 a month or $6,000 a year. If you needed to withdraw that to pay for bills or, I don't know, life expenses, how long your money would last in, we see that it actually goes into it hits the 0 point somewhere around 53. So at 53, the retirement system would not benefit, the new retirement system would not benefit you at all, because you needed that extra money to at least break even, hit 0, and that's why you don't see the blue line here, because it's 0. This graph also assumes that you never touch the money ever. Just how it would grow in a vacuum. And then this one, oh, right, and this assumes that you withdraw immediately after retirement. And there are ways that you can withdraw after retirement from your TSP without penalties, but that's very complicated, and you got to fill out forms. So talk to a professional, please. I think that's it for this. Like, this had one person's data, and you see how not optimal it is. You can plug in your own. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the comments below. For YouTube, if you're watching this and you know me, you can message me, and I'll try my best to give you some kind of advice. Again, not a professional, but I got some knowledge. Is that everything? I've made so many takes that I always forget, and I know that before I transition, I want to make sure that that's everything, because this next part is taking this calculator and just guesstimating or accurately showing what your retirement, to include your money, would look like over time. And this is something that the TSP site doesn't do. It's like, how will your money grow, right? And it shows like your annual pay, how much you contribute, how long you're going to contribute, your annual rate of increase, and what you expect for a return. Oh, right. I hope you're still here. This rate of return, this 6.5%, I'm so scatterbrained, and I don't want to do another take. This 6.5% is a average estimate of the rate of return for the equivalent of a C fund, or the S&P 500. The life cycle funds have a fair bit of this early on, but it does get more conservative. So if you're plugging along and you want to stay in the life cycle fund, you would just guesstimate how incrementally less your rate of return is until here. I gave you a lot of fields, but not a ton. So skip some years. But that you can plug in any number you want if you think you're going to be more conservative or more aggressive. But 6.5% is a fair medium. But to go back into the whole retirement thing, if you wanted to plug in your own personal data and say like, okay, 20, oh Jesus, all right, 6.5%, and then at year 3 you make E4, and you do 20 at 6.5, and then let's see, 5, you get picked up for E5. Let's say 10 for E6, 20. 6.5, 14 for E7, 20, 6.5. So, and we'll remove that because that kind of changes some things. So, assuming that right off the get-go you enlisted and you could have started contributing 20% into the C fund, I guess, and just kept that all the way until E7, and you retired at 20. Your money at the age of 88, I guess because you have to withdraw starting at like age 70, right? It's a required minimum distribution, or whatever, I don't know, RMB, whatever the B, or is it RMD? So around 70, you have somewhere in the degree of 2.2, almost $2.2 million. And you have to withdraw 4% of that, or some percent, I think it's 4. So this would be sloped down. But there's nothing stopping you from taking this and putting it back into a stock account. and also seeing the same returns. You just have to take it out of TSP. But you can see how your money can grow. Ignore this graph and ignore this blue line. They don't show you this. But this option is not available in TSP. Like how your money will grow, right? And then if you take that value at 70, where if you're using the Google Doc, you can click on this, and then you click on, there should be like a little eyeball on the first thing, and you can like scroll, like it gives you like the nice little plotted point stuff. You take that value, whatever it's estimated to be at, and you can go to the TSP website now and use the how long will my money last? And that just says, here's your starting pay, here's your starting balance, which is 2.2 million. And assuming you take 4% out with a rate of return of 6.5%, how will your money grow? And you'll see, because you're gaining 2.5% interest, you'll slowly go up. It'll taper off. It'll look like this, or like that. But that was it's a neat little perk of this thing, is that you can get an accurate guesstimation of what your money will be like at 70 or so. So I feel like I've rambled on enough. Again, if you have any questions, contact me. I love talking about money. Brace yourself if you do contact me. I can talk a lot. But I really hope that this video was, first off, accurate and helpful. And by all means, feel free to spread wide and share this with anyone. If you know someone in the military, share it with them. If you're in the military, use it. And yeah, so thanks. Bye.